Good evening, my extended family. Good evening. It is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. I'm going to try to make this a quick show tonight. May's almost here. What a beautiful month May is. Every year I look forward to the month of May. It's like winter is over a lot earlier, but it's not until May where you really start to believe you don't have to worry about getting any more snow. I hope you all had a good night's sleep last night and that the day went well for you today. Thanks again for letting me spend a few hours with you this evening. I appreciate every one of you. You're quite special to me. I like to start by reminding each and every one of you that you're simply wonderful right where you are. You know, it's happy birthday time, and I'm going to wish a happy birthday to my neighbor, Mr. Harrison. He just turned 104 years old today. Boy, the stories that he could tell. I should be doing tonight's show from his porch, where he sits just about every night, smoking a pipe or a cigar, listening to the New York Yankees play baseball when they're playing. He's dabbled in stocks his whole adult life, and he's done pretty well, so he feels pretty lucky that he was able to retire early. He was 84 when he retired. So if you have somebody you'd like me to announce their birthday, please send me a note, and I'll wish them a happy birthday on the show. All right, let's get ready to travel. Every night we travel to a different state, and tonight's no exception. So once again, I need you to put on your little kid imagination because we're going to travel. Tonight's show is coming from a state that was established in 1796. There are more species of trees in this state than any other state. A city here is the home for the longest running radio program in the world. That is the Grand Ole Opera. I remember seeing that when I was a kid. We traveled there. It was enjoyable. I didn't think I was going to like it because I had seen it on TV and listened to it on a radio. But we loaded up the station wagon and we all drove down. And it was an enjoyable time. On the way home, we stopped at this little place to eat. And the food wasn't that good, but the service was great. And so we've always spoken fondly about stopping and getting something to eat after the show at the Grand Ole Opera. We almost forget about the food poisoning because the food service was so good. That never comes up like the food did that night. But anyway, this state is known as the energy capital of the world. This state comes from an old Indian word meaning the meeting place. There's a long story about that. I'll get to that later on maybe. The Great Smoky Mountains are here. Graceland is here. Remember Elvis? Graceland. Funny laws still on the books in this town, in this state. I'm not quite sure if they're still enforced, but they're still on the books. You cannot sell a hollow log in this state. No hollow log selling. You may not carry a skunk across the state line. In one city here, a woman cannot call a man and ask for a date. I'm sure they figured out some sort of code word for that. You cannot shoot a whale while inside your car. How the whale got inside your car, I'll never know. Spitting on the sidewalk is illegal, and I think that's a good thing. Minors may not be majors. No, minors may not be tattooed. It's completely legal to pick up roadkill, take it home, and eat it. As a matter of fact, I think probably that restaurant served it to us that night. But again, the waitress was real nice. Her name was Nancy. I was about 8 years old. And she was just really sweet. You cannot sing, "It ain't gonna rain no more, no more, it ain't gonna rain no more" in this state. You'll get a ticket for that. You may not share your Netflix password. No lassoing fish. I never thought of that. You can't drive while you're asleep, okay? The state's insect is the honeybee. The state fruit is a tomato. And remember, there's no E at the end of tomato. The state flower is the iris. The state birds, too. Northern mockingbird and northern bobwhite. The state tree is the tulip tree, just like Kentucky from last night. The state's motto is agriculture and commerce. The state slogan is America at its best. I like that. Let's get back to America at its best. The nickname of this state is the Volunteer State, and I bet you know right where we are now. This nickname came about because of the amount of volunteer soldiers, 1,500, sent during the War of 1812. I don't quite remember the War of 1812. The capital is Nashville, and the state we are in is Tennessee. On this day in history, I got to tell you right now that I'm making this stuff up as I go along, but I'll make them sound believable. On this day in history, 1776, the Continental Congress adopts a resolution severing ties with fat King George and Great Britain. In 1823, Brazil declares its independence from monarch rule. In the year 1900, on this date, the first Zeppelin takes off. The first Zeppelin takes off in Germany. It was not the Hindenburg. If you've never seen a film of the Hindenburg, the crash, the burning of the Hindenburg, boy, it's something to watch. It's a pretty horrible scene. No humor there. It was definitely a tragedy. 1926, the United States established the Army Air Corps. On this date, 1928, the first television broadcasting station goes live in the United States. In 1937, Amelia Earhart disappeared in Central Pacific. She reappeared over the northern Atlantic and then disappeared again. It was all caught on film. 1934, Adolf Hitler ends his purge of 3 days by having 700 to 1,000 of his opponents killed. That was called the Night of the Long Knives. Another sad part of history. I hate bringing up sad parts of history. It would do us well to remember that this was less than 100 years ago. There are people alive today that remember the beginning of Hitler's horrible reign. 1964, President Johnson signs into law a sweeping civil rights bill. Today is National I Forgot Day. It's so nice to know that there's a day besides my birthday to honor my greatest quality. The word of the day is iteration. This is the process of going over and over and over and over and over and over something repeatedly. That's so annoying. The word of the day today is iteration. This is the process of going over and over and over and over and over something repeatedly. So annoying. The character trait for the month of April is different than the character trait at the school that I work for. It is loyalty, which is the quality of being supportive and at times giving allegiance. Many times we show loyalty to a friend or to a job, but usually our loyalty is for something that we believe in. We're loyal to a way of life. Hopefully it's a good way of life. Well, let me see. Looks like that's the end of the show. One word I wanted to say about the stock market when I mentioned Mr. Harrison. The advice is this. Some stocks go up and some stocks go down. And you don't know which ones are going to go up and when they're going to go down. So be careful. There's a show called Mad Money. And it makes kind of sense because you don't want to use bill money. If you're going to do something with the stocks, use money that you're not afraid of losing. But don't put it in just because it's fun. Do some research and figure out which stocks you want. So if you're looking for me tonight, I can be found walking a path high up in the Great Smoky Mountains. It's going to be a long walk, so I think I'll pack a midnight snack for 2 just in case somebody shows up. And I'll bring an extra cigar for you because I will be smoking a cigar, that's for sure. So until we meet again, let us all have a blessed, peaceful night. And as always, you are truly quite special. The world wouldn't be the same without you. That's for real. So don't even think of leaving. The world, and especially the people right around you, need you so very much, and that's a good thing. So let's be kind to one another. Good night, and may God bless.